Welcome to ISU Section 1.6 Arithmetic Sequences. Today we're just going to talk about general arithmetic sequences and start with some of the basics. So the first term in an arithmetic sequence is labeled with the letter A, and all we're looking for is simply what's the first term? 1. So we're just going to write that in there for A. The next part of this is called the constant difference. And in arithmetic sequences, what happens is there's a constant amount that the arithmetic sequence either goes up or down by. In this case, you can see that we're adding 4 each time. And so we know our constant difference is plus 4. Okay? Again, it could be up or down. It could be a negative number. And when we describe these patterns, we want to use a formula that can help us find any term in the sequence at all. And in this case, the general formula that we use, or the general term, is represented with the letter Tn. For the sequence above here, all we need to do is we take our A and our D, and we fill it into the formula here. So term n would be A plus n minus 1, and again we don't know what the n is because this is a general term and the n could be anything, and the d we know is going up by 4. So term n here, we've got 1 plus, and we can simplify this a little bit by taking the 4 and using the distributive law and multiplying it in. So we end up with 4n minus 4. And again, we can simplify it further because there are some like terms here, 1 and negative 4. And so to make it look pretty, I'm going to put the 4n first and then do a subtract 3 here. So there's our general term. Tn is equal to 4n minus 3. Next question we have here just looks at, it wants us to find term 20. So all we're looking for is what number will be in the 20th spot in this term. So this little part here tells us what n is, so we know n is 20. And we can use our general term to now find what the 20th number in this sequence is. So we've got 4 times 20, and I'm going to subtract 3 from that. Now I just have to use BEDMAS quickly to figure this out. And I've got 4 times 20 is 80, whoops, and a minus 3. And so term 20 will be 77. So again, if we look at this term, this sequence here, we've got the first term being 1, second term is 5, third term is 9, and as we go further down the list here, we'll get to term 20 eventually, and we know that'll be 77. Finally, the final question here that we need to do is we want to determine the number of terms in this sequence. And as you can see, we've started this sequence here, and we've also ended with the number 405. So we want to figure out, well, where is 405 in this sequence? So we don't know where 405 is, so the n is questionable. But we know that Tn is 4n minus 3, and Tn is also 405 because that's the term we're trying to find. So 405 will equal 4n minus 3, and we're just looking to isolate the n, isolate the variable here, so we're going to take the minus 3 and move it over to the other side. It becomes a plus 3, and the 4n stays there, and so we know that 408 is equal to 4n, and now we'll just quickly divide by 4 here, and we'll get our n as being 102. And so what that tells us is that this sequence up here, the 102nd term, is actually 405.